For countless centuries, humanity was seen as nothing more than an insignificant speck in the grand tapestry of the universe. The vastness of space, with its endless wonders and alien civilizations, had always overlooked Earth, deeming the human race fragile and primitive. The intergalactic elders, a powerful alliance of advanced species, were the ones who ruled the stars, their civilizations spanning entire galaxies. They watched Earth with amusement, often sneering at humanity's constant wars, its struggles for survival, and the crude technology it produced. The humans, they believed, were still a long way from understanding the true nature of the universe. Even Earth's brightest minds, its greatest leaders, could only dream of achieving a fraction of the wisdom and technology the elders possessed. Diplomatic efforts were nothing more than a farce. Whenever human envoys attempted to negotiate for respect, they were met with condescension, their messages dismissed with little more than a bored flick of an elder's hand. They laughed at humanity, mockingly questioning whether humans would ever rise beyond their petty squabbles. Yet, despite the ridicule, something was quietly unfolding on Earth that the elders could not see, something they had failed to account for. It was not in the technology that humans used, nor in their ability to wage war or make scientific breakthroughs. It was in their spirit, their unwavering ability to adapt, learn, and survive. Humans had endured countless challenges throughout their history, from the collapse of civilizations to the struggle for basic survival. Each setback had only fueled their determination to push forward, to rise from the ashes stronger than before. While the elders saw humanity as weak, they failed to recognize that it was precisely this resilience that made humans dangerous. Humans didn't bend in the face of adversity. They didn't surrender, no matter the odds. They were driven by an inner force, an unrelenting will to thrive that could not be easily extinguished. As the decades passed, Earth began to make small but significant strides. At first, the advancements seemed trivial. New methods of energy generation, improvements in space travel, and breakthroughs in medicine. But beneath the surface, a quiet revolution was taking place. It wasn't just that humanity was learning and growing, it was that they were evolving in ways the elders could not have predicted. Humans weren't just building technology to match the galaxy's finest. They were developing entirely new ways to think, create, and innovate. They didn't simply accept the rules of the universe as they were. Instead, they questioned everything, constantly searching for new answers and solutions that others had overlooked. While the elders laughed, some humans had already begun to dream of the stars, of leaving Earth behind and forging their own path among the galaxies. They weren't looking to conquer or destroy. No, humans had something far more powerful in mind: to explore, to understand, and to unlock the universe's deepest mysteries. And as Earth's space programs grew more sophisticated, as they learned from every failure and every success, it became clear that humanity was not content to simply be a footnote in the cosmic story. They would play a far greater role in shaping the future. But this growing potential went unnoticed by the elders. They continued to mock humanity, secure in their belief that humans would never pose a real threat. The universe had many advanced civilizations, some far older, some far more powerful, and none of them had ever given Earth much thought. To them, humanity was still just a fleeting moment in the history of the cosmos. Yet, as the human race began to reach beyond the stars, that moment was about to change. What the elders didn't know was that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology or their raw power. It was in their unyielding patience, their quiet determination. They had waited for centuries, enduring mockery and scorn, biding their time until the moment was right. And when that moment arrived, the universe would know that humanity was no longer a fragile species, but a force to be reckoned with, one that would challenge the very foundation of the galaxy itself. The elders had underestimated them, and It was a mistake they would come to regret. As the centuries passed, Earth remained under the shadow of the Elders' scorn, who believed humanity was destined to remain insignificant. While the Elders looked down from their high seats in the galaxy, convinced of their eternal superiority, something quiet but powerful was taking place on Earth. The humans, underestimated and ridiculed, had begun to rise. Their once basic technology was evolving at a pace no one had expected. For so long, they had been mocked for their primitive spacecraft, their wars, and their endless struggles for survival. Yet in the hidden corners of the Earth, a new era was quietly unfolding. The humans were no longer content with simply catching up to the rest of the universe. They had a new vision, a vision that would change the galaxy forever. A group of Earth's most brilliant minds came together, united by one singular purpose: to make humanity more than just a footnote in the history of the cosmos. Led by visionary engineers, daring scientists, and forward-thinking inventors, this team began to build something entirely different, something never seen before. They worked in secret, understanding the risk involved. If the Elders caught wind of their efforts, it could lead to disastrous consequences for Earth. But the humans were driven by an undeniable need to prove themselves. They sought to create, not just a ship, but a revolutionary form of space travel, unlike anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. After years of tireless work, they unveiled their greatest achievement: a ship powered by an energy source unlike anything the galaxy had ever known. This new form of energy, derived from Earth's oceans and atmosphere, was far more efficient and powerful than anything the Elders or any other alien race had ever developed. It was a bold move, one that could make all existing technologies obsolete. The humans had done what no one expected. They had harnessed the very elements of their own planet to fuel a ship that could outpace anything in the galaxy. Their ships were faster, more agile, and far more resourceful than anything their intergalactic counterparts had built. The universe was about to be introduced to the first of Earth's true technological marvels. But more importantly, humanity was about to reveal a power they had been hiding for centuries: innovation. The first interstellar ship, aptly named the Dawn, was launched into the great expanse of space. The humans didn't celebrate with fireworks or grand speeches. Instead, they sent it off quietly, with the determination of a species that had waited long enough for respect. The ship moved through the stars, cutting through the void at speeds that made it nearly impossible to track. As it traveled, humanity waited. They knew that once the galaxy became aware of the Dawn, the Elders would be forced to recognize them. The era of mockery was over. No longer would humans be seen as weak or insignificant. The Dawn was a message to the universe: we are no longer the species you can dismiss. The ship's journey was long, and as it ventured farther into space, the tension among Earth's leaders grew. Would the galaxy take notice? Would the Elders be forced to reckon with humanity's rise? The humans didn't know for sure, but they believed in their creation. They knew that the Dawn was not just a ship, but a symbol of humanity's unwavering spirit, their ability to adapt, and their relentless drive to push beyond their limits. The Elders, who had once thought of humans as nothing more than a fleeting curiosity, would soon find that the galaxy had underestimated the human race. In time, the ships of Earth would no longer be seen as a joke. They would be seen as a force to be reckoned with. Humanity had finally broken free from the chains of their past, and the stars, once a distant dream, were now within their grasp. The galaxy was about to learn a hard truth. The humans were no longer a forgotten race. They were a rising power, and nothing would ever be the same again. As the Dawn continued its journey, humanity stood at the brink of something far bigger. What had once been a dream of exploring the stars was now a reality. The universe would soon feel the ripples of this new beginning. The mockery of the elders would be replaced by something far more dangerous, a deep, undeniable respect. And the humans were ready to show the universe just how powerful a species could be when they were determined to rise from the ashes of doubt. The galaxy had always looked down on humanity, dismissing them as weak, insignificant, and easily ignored. The elders, secure in their dominance, had no reason to believe otherwise. The human fleet, still in its early stages of expansion, was considered little more than an annoyance, a race too immature to pose any real challenge. It was with this arrogance that the elders overlooked the potential threat that was steadily growing. So, when a human fleet, newly equipped with advanced ships, encountered an elder warship deep within the neutral zone, the elders were not concerned. They assumed the humans would either retreat or be swiftly obliterated by their superior firepower. They were wrong. The human ships, though smaller and less powerful than the elder warships, had been built with precision and ingenuity. They were faster, more agile, and better equipped to handle unexpected situations. As the battle raged on, the humans employed innovative maneuvers that left the elder ships unable to react in time. Using the environment of the neutral zone to their advantage, they lured the elder warship into a trap, forcing it into a position where it was vulnerable. Then came the final unexpected move. The humans deployed a technology that the elders had never encountered before, a temporary energy field that scrambled the elders' targeting systems. The elder warship, unable to adjust, fired wildly, missing every shot. The human fleet guided by quick thinking and a deep understanding of alien technology, struck back. One by one, they disabled the elder ship's key systems, crippling it before the elders even had time to fully comprehend what was happening. The battle was over almost, as quickly as it had started. The humans, having inflicted significant damage to the elder warship, withdrew just as quickly as they had attacked, leaving behind a stunned and humiliated enemy. They had not only survived, but emerged victorious. The galaxy had watched in silence, as the once dismissed humans had done the impossible, crippling a warship far superior to their own with nothing more than ingenuity and courage. The news spread like wildfire, reaching every corner of the galaxy. The mockery of humanity was no longer something to be laughed at. The elders, who had believed humans to be no more than an evolving curiosity, now saw them as a force to be reckoned with. The word threat was beginning to echo through the halls of every major intergalactic power. The elders, for the first time in centuries, found themselves unsettled. They had assumed that their technological superiority and centuries of experience would ensure their dominance, but now they realized that the humans were unpredictable. Their sheer resourcefulness, their ability to learn and adapt on the fly, made them far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. This was no longer a race to be dismissed. It was a race to be feared. As the dust settled, the humans returned to their homeworld. They were not celebrated as conquerors, but as survivors. They had achieved the impossible, and in doing so, had planted the seeds of a revolution. The galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. The elders, once so secure in their power, now faced an unknown future, one where humans were no longer the insignificant speck they once thought them to be. The confrontation was just the beginning. Humanity's presence in the galaxy was no longer a matter of curiosity, it was now a matter of respect. And the elders would soon learn that the humans were far more capable than they could have ever imagined. The battle had been a turning point for humanity, but it was only the beginning. News of the humans' victory spread like wildfire across the galaxy, leaving the once dismissed species in the spotlight. The elders, stunned by the audacity and success of the human fleet, found themselves scrambling to recover from the humiliation. They had long believed that their technological superiority and centuries of experience had made them invincible. Yet now, they were forced to confront an uncomfortable truth. Humanity was no longer the weak, disrespected race they had once dismissed. The humans had proven themselves, and they were not going to fade into the background again. But while the elders scrambled to regain their footing, humanity's rise continued with unrelenting speed. They didn't have an ancient empire to back them, nor the vast, time-tested military strategies of their alien counterparts. What they did have was something far more powerful: unity, adaptability, and a fierce will to survive. People from all corners of Earth began to rally around their newfound strength, working together with a shared vision for the future. Their ships grew more advanced with each passing day, and their strategies more refined. They didn't need the history of empires past. Humanity's future was being forged in the present, and it was moving at a pace that left the galaxy's powers scrambling to keep up. In the shadows of this rapidly changing world, a faction known as the Ascendants began to rise. This group of influential leaders and military commanders had seen the potential in humanity's recent victory and understood that the galaxy would never respect them unless they took a more aggressive stance. The Ascendants were no longer content with mere defense. They pushed human leaders to take bold actions, to stop waiting for permission to be seen as equals, and to claim the power that was now within their grasp. This was not just a battle for territory or resources. It was a fight for the respect that humanity had long been denied. As Earth's fleets grew bolder and more coordinated, they began to push outward. Every battle, every victory, added to their reputation. Slowly, but surely, the once scoffed-at humans were becoming a force to be reckoned with. The galactic powers, once so quick to dismiss them, were now forced to reconsider their stance. No longer could they treat humans as a passing curiosity or an insignificant race. With each victory, humanity's reputation grew stronger. The elders, who had once laughed at the idea of humanity even being a threat, now found themselves facing a very real and very capable enemy. The mocking smiles that had once greeted Earth's attempts to communicate had turned into expressions of fear and concern. The humans knew the road ahead would not be easy. The elders, in their arrogance, would not simply accept their defeat, but humanity had something that the elders lacked: a relentless drive to persevere, to adapt, and to overcome. Each battle fought was a lesson. Each alliance made a step toward a more powerful future. As Earth's fleet expanded its reach, the humans found themselves gaining support from other races who had long been oppressed by the elders. These alliances, though fragile at first, began to grow stronger, creating a coalition of species that shared a common goal: to challenge the dominance of the elders and their oppressive reign. The tide of the galaxy was slowly but surely shifting. The humans had turned the tables. Once seen as the weakest of species, they had now emerged as one of the greatest threats to the status quo. The elders could no longer dismiss them. The mocking laughter that had once echoed in the halls of their ships had been replaced by the sound of whispers and careful deliberation. The respect humanity had fought for was no longer a distant dream. It was now within their grasp, and they would not let it slip away. As humanity's power grew, the galaxy began to understand the true nature of the humans. They were not a race, to be easily trampled or ignored. The Ascendant's vision had become clear to the galaxy. No longer would humanity bend to the will of the elders. No longer would they be treated as a lesser species. With each victory, the humans had shown that they were no longer a forgotten race. They were a force, one that could not be ignored. And the elders, once so confident in their rule, were beginning to realize just how dangerous this once weak species had become. The battle for respect had begun, and humanity was winning. The galaxy trembled as the final confrontation between humanity and the elders loomed on the horizon. After years of mounting tension and endless skirmishes, the elders, frustrated and humiliated by the rise of a species they had long dismissed, decided to strike decisively. They believed that only by annihilating humanity once and for all could they reassert their dominance over the galaxy. The elders, confident in their strength, assembled their greatest fleet, an armada so vast and powerful that they were certain nothing could stand in their way. Their plan was simple: crush Earth's forces, break their spirit, and extinguish the flame of rebellion. But what the elders didn't anticipate was the fierce determination of humanity. Over the years, humans had not only built fleets capable of matching the elders' best, but they had also forged powerful alliances with other alien species that had grown tired of the elders' oppressive rule. These were races that had long suffered under the elders' tyranny, and now they stood side by side with the humans, united by a common goal. They were no longer willing to remain in the shadows, waiting for their turn to be crushed. Together, they would strike back. Humanity's fleet, which had once been mocked for its primitive beginnings, was now a force of unmatched innovation and power. Earth's ships had evolved over time, incorporating technology and tactics from their new allies. What had begun as a modest collection of vessels had transformed into a fleet so advanced and diverse that even the elders, with all their experience, were caught off guard. It wasn't just the firepower or the speed of humanity's ships, it was their adaptability. The humans knew how to think on their feet, how to turn the tide of battle when all seemed lost. They had learned to use their enemies' strengths against them, to exploit weaknesses no one else had noticed. As the battle unfolded in the dark expanse of space, the Elders' armada moved forward with overwhelming force, confident that victory was inevitable. But they soon realized their mistake. Humanity's fleet, outnumbered at first, fought with such coordination and precision that they seemed to anticipate every move the Elders made. The humans, with their allies by their side, launched a counteroffensive that shattered the Elder alliance in a series of shocking moves. The once feared Elder ships, now disorganized and confused, fell one by one. It wasn't just the power of the humans' technology, it was their relentless drive, their will to win, that turned the tide of the battle. The Elders, who had never known true defeat, were now witnessing their power crumble before their eyes. The final blow came when a coordinated strike by humanity and their allies crippled the Elder flagship, the symbol of their entire empire. With the flagship in ruins and the remainder of their fleet scattered, the Elders had no choice but to retreat in humiliation. The once mighty and invincible rulers of the galaxy were left broken, their forces decimated, their pride shattered. In the aftermath of the battle, as the wreckage of Elder ships drifted through the stars, the galaxy was left in stunned silence. Humanity had done the unthinkable. They had toppled the self-proclaimed rulers of the universe. The universe would never be the same. The humans, once mocked and underestimated, were now the ones who held the power. No longer would they be looked down upon or dismissed as a weak, primitive species. The galaxy had learned a hard lesson: never underestimate humanity. Earth's leaders, standing amidst the ruins of their enemies, sent a message to the stars. They offered the galaxy a choice: peace or war. Humanity would no longer be pawns in the games of others. They would no longer be treated as lesser beings. The era of human dominance had begun. The galaxy would either stand with them as equals or face the consequences. The choice was now theirs, but humanity's place in the universe was no longer up for debate. The age of human rule had arrived, and the universe would have to adapt.